Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right. Let us pray to the God of dislikes. Please sing with me. Gesture at your screen. I have a new gesture. I like using this gesture now. A combination of middle finger and dislike. And please, of course, leave a dislike on this video. Running into a little bit of uh, a downturn in my life. I'll get to it in a moment. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right. I I'm running into a little bit of a personal drama in my life. What has happened is that, as you guys know, I've been dating a girl here in Taiwan, and I got to go home soon, and just weighing heavily on me. Not to mention that these things often don't move in a straight line, right? In between all the happy moments are times where we take a break from each other, where there's uncertainty, where there's life matters, right? So, for example, neither of us are very stable in our careers, and we're not. Neither of us really know where we're going next, right? There's that, and then there's just uh, just day to day uncertainty, and so. I've been on a roller coaster ride for 7 months now. Is it worth it? Looking back at it, yeah. I need to learn two skills. Number one is when I have a bad moment, to realize that in the future, this is something I'm going to laugh at, and to laugh now instead of just waiting into the future. Like, I can think about times where I've maybe lost my job in the past, had a breakup of some sort, or funny situations that I've run into, and they're all funny now. But at the moment, they weren't. The sentiment was very different, right? Uh, for example, I often laugh at last summer when I got COVID during a heat wave, and I got harassed when I went out. At the time, the sentiment is very different than now retelling it. I wish I could experience the now back then. I really do. I'm trying to do that nowadays. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? The other thing I need to, and this is the flip side of that, is to enjoy things that I have before they are gone, right? So I'm really upset about the tariffs, obviously, but I don't remember boasting about how much I'm enjoying the fact that we don't have these tariffs, right? I didn't do that last year, right? Or uh, relationships are another place where this could happen. Anyway, a little bit of let's talk about the happy stuff now. I went to the bank and I bought 500 Taiwanese $1 coins. I really like the alloy these coins are made. Very tough material. I hope to melt some of these down to make that Ganesh that made my art career so famous. Right, my signature piece. I got a graphite mold of Ganesh. Now, I used to do. You can't do this with silicone because the melting point of these coins that's like 1,000 degrees Celsius at least. And before I did that, I pulled out almost a complete set of them. I'm missing a couple of years. Um, Taiwan started making the $1 coin or the small $1. They used to come in a much bigger coin in 1981, and this one's 2023. They stopped making them already. We still use them. But they stopped making them. A lot of stores don't even accept them. They here in Taiwan, when you go to the store, all of your prices include taxes and all the other fees, and so most stores just round to the nearest fives. So, and we've stopped making them the coins. Uh, so I might get a few more bags before I go home. They come in bags of 500. Uh, I hope to melt these to make a Buddha. 500 Taiwan is little bit under 20 US dollars. So mid-priced metal, right? It's not as cheap as the US pennies that you can get a whole box of them, and about 90% of them would be zinc coins. The rest are copper, right? A little bit more expensive than that, but a lot cheaper than buying uh, bars of just about any other metal you could think about buying, right? Bismuth, tin, not quite as cheap as lead, but around that range, right? So I plan to pour some Buddhas, Ganeshas out of that. 92% copper, 6% nickel, 2% aluminum. I'm going to have to experiment a little bit to see how to melt these. Another thing I may think about is I've been watching videos. Silver and copper form a eutectic mixture, 72% silver and the rest being 28% copper. Here's what I'm thinking of doing. Right now, you can buy 40% silver for basically a negative premium. Nobody likes those coins. And then I'll buy some other either 90 or 100% silver to mix with that to make that mixture. Probably put it into the furnace, turn it up high enough to melt everything, and then lower it down to the melting point of the eutectic, and then pour it. That way, it doesn't have to be too hot when it's poured. Right? I'm thinking of doing a couple of Ganeshas like that as well. As for my Lego project, I want to thank you guys for continuing to vote. I got another big masterpiece coming up. See, I visited Mount Fuji in 2013. So I found a topological map of Mount Fuji, beautifully labeled for the elevation. I can make an exact scale model of this with Legos, right? I added a grid to it so I can figure out where all the Lego pieces go. I'll have to do some math to think about how high every one of these elevations is, and I plan to make a scale model of Mount Fuji with some color pieces depicting the vegetation on it, and maybe some other colored pieces to depict snow. Right now, I'm writing an AI for the game of, a lot of people criticize about my computer game projects that I often have dozens of open projects at the same time. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is that I actually do close these projects from time to time, and when I close one, it's a pretty big deal. So right now, I'm putting on the finishing touches of an AI for the game of Rummikub that I started half a decade ago, if you could believe it. Around just before the quarantine. The quarantine happened, and I got distracted by other projects. I didn't get back to the Rummikub, but now I'm back to it. I got an interesting idea that just came up, and hope that this will finally break through it. I ran into some obstacles when I was doing it 5 years ago, but I came up with an idea as I was writing the AI for Scrabble, believe it or not. So these projects kind of help each other. Right. Similarly, I do one kind of art project. It brings up ideas for the other and all that stuff. I also hope to work with another alloy I hope to work with. Apparently, copper and zinc make up yellow brass. I think it is 65% copper, 35% zinc. That one's a little bit trickier. I'm not as certain about that one because zinc has a pretty low boiling point. By the time copper melts, zinc boils. What I'm thinking of doing is measuring out how many zinc pennies I need, how many copper pennies I need, and put them into the crucible and turning it up to the exact melting point, not of copper, but of the yellow brass, and leaving it there. I'm guessing the zinc will melt first and slowly dissolve the copper, but it's one of those things I'll just have to experiment with. I'll probably start with a small amount, see what it looks like first. I'm more excited about the copper silver eutectic though, because that one's a pretty low melting point, only 800 Celsius. Just a little bit on the pricey side of things. I have a lot of 40% silver half dollars as it is. I'll just need to buy some either 90% silver coins have a pretty good premium nowadays. So I'm thinking buying coins that are damaged, or maybe the Canadian 80%, right? I just need something above the 72, right, to mix with the 40% silver. So either Canadian or silver shot. Usually that goes a little bit premium as well, though. The Canadian silver sometimes goes at a discount relative to the spot. So, all right. Pray for all of my art projects and my Rummy Cube and everything else by leaving a dislike on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.